Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Jennifer. I'm going to be your face and your narrator for this one today. This is a sampling of all the products we are going to use. Let's get started. Well, hello, my lovelies. We're just going to get right to it today. We're going to put a face on using this Jung Mool PDRN skin tint. I picked it up on a whim and I'm kind of happy I did. I picked it up in two shades, 19N and 21C. If you think you might be a skin twin to me, you might want to look at 21N. I couldn't get that one in time, but I think it was a better match. But we're going to make these guys do. The 19N is the lower drippy one right there. I think that's a little too fair for me. I'll try that one in the winter, but today we're going to mostly stick to the 21C. It's pretty good. I'd rather run light in my shades and build back more color with things like bronzers and blushes. Now, I am using a beauty sponge today for application, but I have tried this with a brush. Just lately, I've been really liking the beauty sponge, mainly because I've been gravitating towards using more lifting creams before I go in with the skin tints. And with that, you don't really want to disturb that lifting effect that the cream gives you. And this just keeps it from being disturbed. Same can be said for a sunscreen that you put on your face because that develops a film as well. But as we'll see later on in the video, we are going to buff and blur this face tint into what I consider a heat shield kind of base for these terrible hot days that we've been having. For instance, I do like the MPH by Mary Phillips, but let's be reasonable here. That one is so dewy, it's just never going to stand up in the heat, where this kind of formulation is going to do the trick. You can build this up if you want to, but I'm just going to stick with a more natural looking base and go in with, for instance, this is the Jones Road Crayon. I'm going to use this concealer stick to cover the constellation of dark spots that I have on my face. Using a concealer stick like the Jones Road Beauty one here is an easy way to do spot work. This is something new I've been doing the last little while. I don't know, it's like the opposite of contouring. It's bringing light to the face right there. I'm just trying to, I don't know, I'm fighting the hollows in my cheeks. Well, let's just say the last thing I want to do is contour my face. I'm going to use my new Nikki LaRose N16 brush to feather out this work that I've been doing with the Jones Road. By the way, I like the Jones Road pencil so much. I have it in 3 different colors and I use them depending on what shade I'm looking for. Sometimes I'm looking for brightness, sometimes I'm looking to color correct. This time it's just adding a little brightness. And like I said, trying to camouflage the hollows in those cheeks. I really like this detail brush. It is synthetic fibers, which is great when you're using cream products like this, right? It does have enough body to it to work in the rather waxy concealer formulation of the Jones Road. Now we're going to go in with the Lisa Eldridge. This is her pinpoint concealer stick. Definitely more finer than the Jones Road and does even tinier detail work. Well, I can see that I'm going after the little hair that didn't want to make a full appearance, and I couldn't leave well enough alone. So I went on an excavation, and here we are trying to cover the sins of my morning dig. If you're a picker like me, it's time to get the Lisa Eldridge Pinpoint Concealer and Jones Road pencil. Oh, look what I found. It's a sharpener at the end of the Lisa Eldridge stick. Never knew it was there. We'll see how long it takes me to lose it. I feel like we're taking a sponsored break here, but it's just me buying something that I probably didn't need but wanted. It's blotting papers in a super bougie compact by this company called Lale. Came with a nice handwritten note, nice touch, and an extra bonus top up of the supplement that I purchased. Their claim to fame is the blotting paper compact, but they did come out with a supplement for your skin. It is targeted towards oily to combination skin. That's the extra bonus that they sent me. There's the supplement itself, everything nicely wrapped in ribbon. The supplement contains niacin, vitamin B6, pantothenic acid, zinc, selenium, copper, hyaluronic acid, ginger, and their skin perfecting blend that seems to be patent. It comes in a frosted glass bottle, which I appreciate. I'm trying to get away from plastics. Apparently, it's not good for our supplements to be sitting in plastic jars. There is attention to detail with this company. Everything is packaged nicely and sealed for our protection, and no scent. Editing Jen here, I have been taking it for about a month. I can tell you that my tummy hasn't had any issues with it. It's been a nice addition, but I've had trouble finding the sourcing ingredients. The company founder does say that it's coming from the East Coast, but it's a little vague for me. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to give it a shot. What you're seeing here is the compact that I was actually going after in the first place. It's one of those that turns a blotting paper into more of a powder puff situation. You pull on the little tab, and those are kind of like sticky notes. And you use that to press against the blotting paper that comes in the compact. See there? Lift and voila. Super cool. I mean, totally bougie, not necessary. But I mean, it makes the 56-year-old heart in me kind of sing. It's a little bigger than I expected, but I'm definitely going to make use of that this summer. It's been super hot. All right, let's take these goggles off and get back to the skin tint. Okay, this is when it gets fun. We're going to transform this seemingly innocuous skin tint into a heavy hitter for the hot summer days. I found it a little powdery, so I went after it one day with this kabuki brush from Shantakai. It's called the Buff and Blur brush, and that's exactly what it is. We're just going to kind of buff this thing into the high heavens. I mean, use a light touch. It doesn't necessarily need to be like pushed into your skin, but we're going to take the powdery edge off of the skin tint and give my complexion a soft blur with a nice polished look. Using this technique with any rather more matte finish foundations you have will give more of a radiant look to your skin. See how you can see the light is hitting my cheekbones? Not as powdery. You want to make sure you get into the edges near your nose, chin, and mouth. Now, the skin tint is buildable, but I just went with one rather even coat and it was light at that, and then we buffed it. I cannot escape the little constellation of dark spots, especially on the right side of my face. So I'm going to go in with the Guerlain Precious Light stick here. I like this one. It's one of those click up kind of brushes. For color reference, I'm using the shade 01, and it has a nice brightening effect for my complexion. I have used the Tushy Clock by YSL in the past. I like this one better. And the Victoria Beckham, not so much. Couldn't really get a proper shade in that. I think I had the 4, but it was still a little too pink. All right, the trick with these is to clean them after every use. Just have a microfiber towel on hand and you're good to go. Again, the Nikki LaRose. This is so good for this kind of detail work. All right, swipe, swipe. It has a nice feathery touch. I did that little trick again near my eyes where I am trying to camouflage the hollows. I really don't know why I stopped using the Guerlain Stilo. It's so nice and it doesn't settle into the fine lines around my eyes. The older you get, it does make a difference if you are more intentional with your detail work. It just takes us a little longer to look more natural. So, if I could impart any wisdom from doing my makeup lately, is that the older you get, the smaller your brushes should get. Now, how do I keep all these little brushes clean? I do spot cleaning with this formulation called Perrier Spirit. My God, it smells so much better than that Cinema Secrets. I can't use that stuff. It smells vile to me. I mean, none of them smell great, obviously, but this one does the trick and it's just that much better. Okay, this is the Rhode Pocket Bronze. We're going to use this as our foundational color when we're building up our cheeks. This is in the shade Pebble, which is the fairest of the bunch. Man, everyone's coming out with these chubbo little componentries. Not really a fan. Here's another little tiny one. It looks like a little mushroom bud, right? It's in the Merit Flush Bomb, and this is in the color Bespoke. It's a lovely color, and it's more of a watercolor effect. So we're going to put this on top of the Rhode bronzer for a more watercolored effect. And then to anchor it all, we're going to use a pop of color from the Jane Iredale blush line, and it's a mineral finish, which isn't exactly my favorite for the winter, but these formulations really shine, no pun intended, in the hotter months. I'm going to use an oldie but goodie. This is the Kevin Aquan. It's a double-ended brush, not exactly my favorite either, but it's in the shape of this one that really lends itself best for this road pocket bronze. I like to be a little bit more intentional with my placement, so this lets me stay high and tight and not end up with a hodgepodge of a mess all over my face. Since this is a little bit of a warmer color, it's okay to hit the temples with this one because it is the warmer colors that give a pop instead of receding. It's when it's a grayer kind of shade that you'd want to stay away from the hollows of your temples or your cheeks. Now, see how nicely this bronzer blends into your complexion? It looks so natural. And if you use a brush like this, make sure you like literally hug your cheekbones, find your cheekbones, and in tiny upward motions, kind of press it up into your cheekbones. That'll keep you high and tight, but give you that little definition. Think about it this way, you want to look lifted. We're not talking snatched. That's for the younger ones. We want a lifted appearance. Okay, Makeup by Mario. This is my second time I've purchased something from the company. Can't say I'm exactly a true fan, but we're going to give this Lip Suede by Makeup by Mario a shot. I'm using my Pearl Beauty Sponge to go around the edges of my bronzer and give my lips a more even canvas for the lip liner. By the way, you don't have to dampen your beauty sponge. It works just as well just to blot it. This is the Ultra Suede Sculpting Lip Pencil in the color Dimitri by Makeup by Mario. I have to say, this is a perfect color for my ever fading vermilion border. Little tip, if you're trying to figure out what color best suits you, you can look at the color of your nipples and that'll give you a better idea. Just don't figure that out while you're at Sephora. Best to figure that at home and then keep a mental note when you get to the store. I like this formulation. It offers a little bit more staying power than you'd actually think. Now, here's the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is definitely more of an analog texture that we're all used to. But I have to tell you, I appreciate this easy formulation much better than the newer ones that have that gel consistency. I find those way too drying. I'm shaking my head here because I started with the color sepia, which I love, but it's a little darker and I appreciate this color more at nighttime for some reason because it's a darker shadow. That's what I'm using these for. On my hand here, we have sepia and afterdusk. Now I'm going in with afterdusk. They're so similar in color, but if you look at them closely, afterdusk is a little bit more ashy, like the name suggests, and a little bit more softer of a shadow than the sepia. For me, better for daytime. I mean, we're talking really a niche look, right? Because this is all about that kind of concealer lip look. But a shadow's a shadow, and I'm trying to get it right. I just want a little bit less of a shadow for the day and a little bit more dramatic at night. So I'm sticking with Afterdusk for day. Now, where I completely lined my border with the Makeup by Mario and Dimitri, in the Afterdusk, I don't necessarily take it fully around my lips. I don't want to have that butthole lip appearance. So I just keep soft to the edges, mainly up near my Cupid's bow and the bottom portion of my lips. I don't take it to the edges, especially since I have a rather wide mouth. Okay, yeah, we've definitely gone off script here, but now we're looking at the Huda Beauty. It's in the light sealer and mid sealer colors. These are perfect for someone like me that likes that. Followed by the Huda Beauty Faux Filler in the color mid sealer. And then the lightest on the right is the Huda Beauty Faux Filler in light sealer. Let me guess, I'm going to go with the light sealer. Okay, this formulation is just as gloppy as the MAC lip gloss, which I don't hate. I know a lot of people do, but I'm not one of them. But girl, that is not a doe foot applicator. That is more like a tongue applicator. And it gives me a visceral reaction every time I open it, and not in a good way. I am an editor's nightmare. We have slipped on by to the slip tint by Say. It's the translucent one. It's a baked powder formulation, so I love that. It's just a wee bit more mica based than the loose powder that I absolutely adore by Say. But for some reason on this day I'm going with a little bit more polished look, so I gravitated towards this one. All right, Merit Flush Balm in the color Bespoke. Now, I said this is more like a watercolor look, and it gives a healthy, I don't know, do you want to say clean girl vibe? I like it though. This is all about layering the cheeks just as much as we do when we layer our eyeshadows to give depth and, interest. Now, to lock this in place, we're going to use the Jane Iredale in Barely Rose. This can go terribly bad fast if you're not careful because this is heavily pigmented and we don't want to look like. Oh, anyone know this face? Mimi Bobek from the Drew Carey Show. Iconic look, but we're going for more of a transitional blush these days. Onward to our eyeshadows. This is from Violette FR. Lovely. Speaking of transition, I finally found the perfect color for me as a transition eyeshadow shade. It does work best with finger application, but you can use a brush if you want to. It's not the most long lasting of formulations, but it's supposed to be that French girl look, like you might have been tumbling around in someone's bed for a little while and don't look so perfect. Sultry. Let's go with the word sultry. I'm really liking these milk chocolate shades that these companies are coming out with. They're not so warm, they're not so cool, they're just in the right spot. Would it be a she's gone off script look if I didn't pull out a Surratt Beauty powder? This was a custom palette from Surratt called Rev D'Or, which means dreaming of gold, I guess. So it's soft golds and champagne tones. Honestly, the two colors are Celeste and Aurora, while the larger pan is considered a grippy primer that allows the celestial and aurora colors, which are twinkly sparkly. They don't offer much payoff, but just give you a little something that's a little bit ethereal, right? I'm not using the light matter today. Honestly, the Violette FR has enough grip to it that it works the same way as the light matter in the Surratt. You can see that I'm still using the Nikki LaRose N16. It's such a handy brush. Oh, look who showed up. It's Harper. I love this dog so much. She's my little soulmate. She always seems to make an appearance. So here we are. Gotta get our hugs in. And for shade reference, Harper seems to be that milk chocolate color that I love so much. Sticking with the chocolate theme, we're heading right on into eyebrow gel. This is a new one for me from Rare Beauty. It's in the color Cool Brown. This is good. It tames my brows just enough. And the tint is so soft, but just enough. It gives you a little something, something. It reminds me very much of the one that I was using prior to this, which was the Kimiko. That one was I'd like to say I like this one a little bit better. This one has just a little bit more grip and it doesn't feel as stiff or crunchy by the end of the day, but you definitely know it's there. Anybody have these in their collection still? They're from Chantecaille. I think one of them was limited edition, but the other that I'm using today is still available. Yep, that one. It says Eclat Doux on the back of the package. It might not be in the same componentry, but I think the color and the formulation is still available. Which is not available is the brush I'm using here. It's kind of like a candle flame brush, and it's by Wayne Goss. It is the number 4 if you're trying to track it down. To note here is that I'm using a rather small brush. Again, more intentional placement. I don't need to go over my entire face with powder. It just doesn't do me well at this age. So I'm just going over the spots where I definitely don't want extra sheen. Now see this? This is from Blink. It's the Ultra Volume Tubing Mascara. I was so excited when this came out, but it's a failure. Now, what's made the mark for me is this one by Wander Beauty. It's the Mile High Club. Oh, God, these names again, right? Anyways, this is a lengthening and defining mascara. I love this that it comes in this squishy tube that you can actually work your product around before it hits the bristles. Just when you think it's drying out, you can just kind of squish it around and squeeze it for all it's worth. Anyhow, it has the right kind of bristles for me. I had to check. They're nylon bristles, which is fine. As long as they're not long, then I can negotiate. I like to get close to the lash line, and if the bristles are too long on the mascara, you just can't get so close. Oh, spoke too soon. Happened to touch my eyelid with the mascara wand. So here we go. These are new cotton buds that I picked up on Amazon. $7 and you can get yourself out of trouble. These are from Japan. For the company is called Daiso. What makes them kind of invaluable for this kind of situation is that the pink end that you see right there, it's sticky. The other end is just your normal cotton bud, but you can literally grab the little flake of mascara and pop it off your face. It's amazing. Okay, I think we're done here, friends. What's with the Nancy Pelosi hair going on here? I'm still battling the hair business. Gone back more of a brunette. It's going to be a little red until that blonde works its way out, but we're just going to see what we got going on here. Honestly, not hating it. Feeling a little bit more like myself these days. If you made it this far with me, thank you. You're a gem. See you next time. Bye bye.